I'm going to show you how to grow this crop here in Farming Simulator 25. This is canola. We will be including how to prepare the fields for growing it, how to sow it, the machines you need, the consumables you need. We'll talk through weeding, we'll talk through fertilizer, liming the fields, plowing, cultivating, growing, sowing, and harvesting and selling canola. Let's get into it. If this guide is useful for you, please click that subscribe button and check out the playlist you see at the end of the video to see my other Farming Simulator guides. Before we can actually get going and start seeding and growing our crop, one of the things we need to do here is lime our fields. Now, I want to show you first, because if you are a beginner, you may not want to do this. Go into your menu, go into options, go to game settings, and you actually have a few options here. In fact, let's talk about all of them. We can turn on or off crop destruction. This means if you drive over with your tractor, will the crops be destroyed? Because like when you harvest them, you're going to want your harvester at the front. Periodic plowing required? No. So basically, do we need to keep plowing our fields every time? You can turn this on or off. And I am going to show you how to plow the fields, so don't worry. Field stones. This means if stones can actually appear in your fields. So when you're ploughing it, little stones could crop up and they can just damage your equipment. You might want to turn that off as a beginner. Lime. This is what I'm going to show you next, but it's the same premise with all of these machines. Do you want to lime your fields? As a beginner, you might turn it off. I'm going to show you it with it on, however. Weeds are another thing that you may have to deal with. Again, I'm turning it off because it just adds a lot more complexity. But I will talk you through it later in this video, however. So I just wanted to show you where your options are for those things. So if we go again to our menu and go to the map, and let's go to soil composition up here. I like to turn everything off by just clicking it and deactivating it so that I can see exactly what I need to look at, which here is going to be needs lime. So if I enable needs lime on soil composition up here on the map, I can see these aquamarine colours or sort of turquoisey kingfisher colours needs liming. You can see if I zoom in, this brown bit does not need liming, and that is because I've already limed my field. Can you see here it's been limed? So how do we lime? The first thing I'm going to do is go to the shop and actually buy some lime, and I actually want to show you, here's one I prepared earlier. This is actually the setup you'll need for liming. One tractor like this and one fertilizer spreader that can do lime. So if I go to the map, you've got two options here. You can either drive a tractor to the store to pick up your new fertilizer spreader, or maybe you already have one, or you can just fast travel to the shop and pick up a tractor and a liming machine. I'm going to choose that option. So I'm going to go onto the map, drag across the little basket here, click on the basket and click visit, and that will take you literally to the shop. I can then press R. You can see top left, open shop menu with R. And second tab in here, we now want to actually buy things to, get our liming going. You can buy a small tractor. That's all you're going to need. Any one you want is going to be fine. And that's just going to appear in the car park when you buy it. What you can do is double click on it. And then see down here, it says buy. I'm not going to buy one because I've already done it. You press enter to buy the tractor. Then come again to the second tab on the left and scroll down to yield improvements, fertilizer spreaders. Click on this. And for the base game currently on Farming Simulator 25, we have the Bredel here. This is the one you're going to want. It's 45,000. The reason for that is because if you look at this one, or this one, can you see down here where I'm circling, it has a little seed bag option. That's your fertilizer. Whereas the Bredel has the lime logo, this little white logo. That's your lime, which means only this machine can spread lime. So this is the one we want to buy. And again, you can just press enter and then buy it again and it'll appear in the car park. What you also need to buy is underneath it, category consumables, again in yield improvements, consumables and lime. Okay, and you just double click on that. I would say buy maybe like 3 or 4 lime. It's up to you. It's not expensive. We can buy some lime. Again, it'll appear in the car park just like this. Now what I'm going to do is go back home and show you the rest of it. I can also press tab on my keyboard to actually just tab into my other vehicles. There we go. So let's say you've got your tractor, and this could be either in the car park or it could be here where I am now. You want to reverse your tractor up to the new machine. And can you see at the bottom of the video here, it says Attach Tool, Bredl K150, 105. If I press Q, it attaches the tractor to the Bredl. So they're now attached. Now, if you have bought it in the car park, the lime will be right next to your Bredl automatically. If it's not, just literally attach the tractor and the Bredl and line them up to the lime in the car park. Press N, or if you are on console, just check the keybinds in the top left to open the lid. Yours will be empty, of course, because you need to fill it up. And then, can you see on the top left, it says I need to press I to unload. You will have an option to load the Bredl. I can't remember what keybind it is, but it will say there. In fact, can I just... No, don't worry. It will say load. I think it's R for Romeo, and it will just automatically, as long as you are close to the lime that we saw in the car park on the ground, you can press R and keep pressing it, and it will, every few seconds, it will stop, and you can fill it up more, and it will fill up the Bredl here. We can then press N again to close the lid, and then you're just going to drive your tractor and Bredl that are now connected over to the field that needs liming. We drive it over. What we can do when we get here is press B, which you can see on my keybinds on top left, to start spreading. It's very obvious when it's spreading because we can see it is. And this is literally going to be liming the field. Now, again, you can turn this option off in the options. You can also leave it on if you want and actually decide not to lime your fields, but you will get less yield in your crops. If you do not lime, you will actually get a smaller output of crop yield when you come to harvest your crops. In these tractors as well, just go slower on the controls. It's very easy to like overturn in these, I find. So that's step one done. We have limed our fields. This is actually probably one of the most complex parts of liming. Next, we're going to look at ploughing the field. So I have it on in my options that I don't need to periodically plough my fields. But if it's a new field, etc., maybe you haven't ploughed it yet, then you will need to plough. So what I'm going to do is park up my Bredl over here. And a Q again to detach it. And I'm going to drive around. This field doesn't actually need ploughing, but I'm just showing you for the purpose of the tutorial. And again, you can go to growth. And again, let's turn everything off just because it makes it easier, especially if you're a beginner. And we can select this option for ploughed, cultivated, or stubble tillage. So if I get out of this tractor, stubble tillage, if you're wondering what that is, it's basically the remnants of your last harvest. And you can sort of see it on the soil bed. Can you see there's all just crap lying around on the soil bed? So let's get ploughing. God, it's a bit of a bit of an adult sentence to say on a farming simulator tutorial. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse up to my little plowy mabob and connect it here. Again, when you get close, you can see I can attach the John Deere 980. Don't worry, I will show you in the store what we need to buy. So that's attached. And this is a cultivator, basically. This is going to cultivate the land so that it is ready for seeding. So when we drive it up to the field and we stop, I want you to pay close attention to the actual kind of utensils or the tool at the end. If I press V, can you see it's lowering it really close to the ground and then hiring it? So when you get up to your field, you want to lower the cultivator to the ground, and this is going to automatically cultivate the soil, as you can see here. Oh my God, bit wonky, but there we go. And we are cultivating the soil here, ready for seeding. And then to lift it again, of course, you just press V. What you can also do, if I just tab around, And in fact, a good tip actually is just to leave a tractor at the store, and you can just get in any vehicle and just tab around to get straight to the store really easily, rather than having to even fast travel. If we come to the store again, I just want to show you in here, we can go all the way up to soil cultivation, and you can buy in here, you know, plows for plowing the soil. With a plow, you can prepare fields for the next sowing and create new fields, and also cultivators. A cultivator prepares fields for the next sowing. So we're using the John Deere 980. You can see all the different crazy cultivators, etc., that you can buy in here. So if you don't already have one, this is where you can buy them, in plows and cultivators. Now our soil is ready to seed and sow the crops. The next thing we now need to do, of course, is actually seed our and sow our crops. So again, you're going to want a tractor. You can use the one we've already had. Just press Q or whatever your keybind is to detach the cultivator. Drive it down to the shop if you need to get some seeds. And if we actually scroll down in the shop, you can actually see that you can get full-on seeders. Crazy big seeding attachments here. The cheapest one we're going to be using is the Great Plains Solid Stand 1500. And if you do start with a starter farm, that's the one you get. And you can see down here the different crops that can be grown with the seeder here. If you press escape, we can then go over to category seeds. And that is where you can actually buy your seeds. Now, you can get a forklift and buy them on pallets, etc., bags of seeds. What I would recommend doing is either buying a seeder in the store here, or with a seeder that you already have, drive it down to the store, buy all of your seeds, and park it up near the shop. And again, just fill it up. Now, I've already got my seeder ready, so it's the same way that you park it next to the lime and you just fill it up. I'm going to use my little trick just to be lazy by tabbing back. So let's put our cultivator away and attach it. No. Oh, did I attach it? There we go. And now I'm going to reverse in and get my seeder. I've actually got a trailer of seeds here as well. Just FYI. I'm going to reverse it in to my seeder. Now this one's already got seeds in it. And again, you can see it says attach. I just add that on. And we're going to drive it out. What you can see on the right-hand side is that it says canola, and it shows you how full my seeder is. Let's see if I can actually... Can I do it from a... I'm not sure if I can do it from a trailer. I don't think I can do it directly from the trailer. No, I can't. But again, you can press N to close the lids, and that's when you're near bags of seed. It will then say, you know, do you want to... add in the seeds from your bags that are nearby. So all we're going to do with our seeder is, we need to choose our crop, of course. Before we actually can seed our seeds, we need to choose the canola in the options. On the left, you can see it says select seed barley. And on the right, can you see I'm cycling through all the different seeds? We want to cycle through to canola. Once you get to canola with your seeder, we can then drive onto the field just here, and then what we're going to do is press V to lower our canola seeding to the ground. You can see it's going up and down. You want to lower it to the ground so it's ready for seeding, and then you can press B for Bravo, to actually start the seeding process. And what you're going to see is it's all coming out. Look, you see all the seeds are coming out. This is us actually seeding the canola onto our pasture. Is it a pasture? Onto our farm. Don't want to say the wrong word. I don't know. I'm not a farmer. I wish I was. This looks bloody great. And there we go. We are now seeding the canola onto our field. Now, if I just stop seeding the canola there, and we go onto the map, on growth, on the left, you can see it's really light, and on the right, it's really dark. That shows the growth period. Here's some crops I'm already growing, and you can see they are in the early growth period. If we also go left to crop types, you can see the crop types I've got, and then I can click canola, and then you can see, in fact, is that ready to harvest? Oh, that one's ready to harvest, that canola. Yeah, you can see the canola lit up, and if I deselect it, the canola is not lit up, for example. And that is pretty much it for actually sowing the seeds. There is some maintenance that you can do, weeding and fertilizing. I would recommend you turn weeding off as a beginner. It's a lot of work and they can destroy your crops. Fertilizers you may want to do or you may not. Again, it just increases the yield, just like lime does. Go to the shop again. Similar to everything else we're doing, it's not specific for canola either. Under the second tab again, yield improvements, just like we did before, fertilizer spreaders. The Bredel can actually do fertilizer and lime, but I would probably just buy a separate one. And you can rent them as well. If I press enter, you can see here space, lease. I can lease them, which is a lot cheaper, which may be useful for you. We can buy another one for our fertilizer and then go to consumables and again buy the solid or liquid fertilizer. If you are choosing to do weeds, again, you can buy sprayers and weeders for, crop, non-organic, and, weed to actually weed it here and prevent against weeds. You can buy these and again, select them to the tractor, buy the anti-weed, what's it called? Weed killer. And, attach it and then go and spray it on your crops as necessary, just as I've shown you all the other things we've been doing. So yeah, that is an option you can do if you'd like to. Apart from that, you now need to just wait for them to be ready to harvest. In your game settings, in game settings, you can see seasonal growth on or off and days per month. If I go up to the calendar, I've got seasonal growth off. If I turn this on, in game settings, yes, you can see I can only plant and harvest my seeds. For example, my canola here, I can only plant it in August and September and harvest it then in July and August. I'm a beginner. Well, I am a beginner. I'm just doing this for the tutorials, so I'm having it off to make life easier for myself. And you can choose days per month. Every time I sleep and it goes to the next day, for example, it will then go on to the next month, and then you can, see the crop growing, etc., day by day. All we've now got to do is wait for it to grow, harvest it, and sell it. Let's go do it. So again, I'm going to get into my tractor and just tab back. Let's lift this off here because I do believe this canola on the left-hand side, on the left side of me, is ready to harvest. So, in fact, I'm just going to leave this tractor here. No, let's be polite and put it back. So, you're not actually going to need a tractor for this one. You're going to need a harvester. And I have a harvester ready to go here. Let's get in it. So, you are actually going to need to do quite a few things of this one. Number one is you are going to have to actually attach the harvester header, as you can see here. And again, you can buy these or lease these in the shop. So I'm just going to go forward and attach it with Q. There we go. And I need to unfold the top. And that is going to be X. And again, keybinds top left. Unfold the harvester. And then we are going to go over to our canola field over here. And again, if you're not sure what crop is what, just again, we can go, let's just make sure I'm doing the right thing here. Yes, you can see in crop types that this is canola. And is it ready to harvest? Yes, it is. This crop is ready to harvest. So I'm going to go over, and again, I'm going to lower the header. So you can see I'm lowering it down. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to then press B again, and you can see the harvester is turning on. And there we go. We are harvesting our canola. Now, you can see out the back of it, there's a load of old rubbish coming out. This can actually be like bundled up like hay, I think, and sold. But I'm not going to worry about that in this tutorial. It's not needed, etc. You can just plow straight over it, quite literally. Can you see on the right-hand side as well, the litres of canola are filling up? So you can see how much canola is filling up in our tank here, which is just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Once you're done harvesting, I can turn it off by pressing B again, and then press V to lift up the header. What we now need to do is actually get it ready to sell. So you can do this in a few different ways. I'm going to get a truck to do this. Is it called a truck? A trailer. So I'm just going to park up my harvester here. And I believe you can do this straight from the harvester into the sell point, but I'm going to show you how to do it manually. So I press O, and the pipe comes out, literally ready to dump in the trailer. I'm going to tab to go into... Let's use this tractor, shall we? It's a big old tractor. I'm going to buy a trailer. You might already have one. I'm just going to buy one. What are we going to buy? Trailers. I don't want some gargantuan thing. And you can see on the trailers like how much they hold and things like that. You can see here 10.9 tons and what it can hold. So we might just want like a little trailer like this. You can see all the different crops this one can hold. Canola is on the list. Fantastic. This one here for 6,000 is really small. It can use 1.2 tons, whereas this one can use 6 tons, for example. I'm going to buy this 6-ton one. Just press enter, buy, and of course, again, you can lease it. That will appear here. I'm going to get my tractor. A bit of overkill, this tractor I'm using, but you know. And reverse it up. You do have to make sure you're quite straight with this. And attach with Q. So now we have our trailer. And you've probably guessed it, we're going to empty our harvester into here. So let's drive back home. And all I'm going to do now is line it up with where my pipe is hanging out. I can just zoom out a bit to make things easier for myself. Oh God, don't knock it out of the way. And there you go. It's going to automatically start filling up the trailer when I go over it. Obviously, you can see I have not actually harvested very much canola there. What we're now going to do is go and sell it. Now, we have a silo over here as well, and you can actually store it in the silo. And can you see there's this grate on the floor? So what I can do is just, oh my God, oh my goodness, is load it up over it. And can you see on the bottom of the screen, it says I dump canola. What I can do is just press I on my keyboard, and it's just going to start dumping it out. And that's going to dump it out into the silo. And that means that we can store it for later. If we go on the map, rather than doing it here at the silo point, you can also sell it at different points. There is actually one at the other side of the farm, which is here. This is a... You can unload here, and it is a literal like farmer's kiosk, and you can sell stuff here. Wherever you see these unloading, these tip stations, that is where you can unload your goods. So if you use it in a silo, it will store it. And if you sell it like somewhere here near the shops, that will be where you can sell it. You may want to store it in a silo to sell your canola at a later date, because it may not be the best time. Down here on analytics in your menu, we can see all the different things. If we go to canola, you can see this is where we are right now in October. And you can see if you sold it in July, it'd be the worst time to sell it. You may want to keep your canola until December to sell it then at the highest point. And that's why you would store it in the silo versus just selling it straight away. And that, everyone, is everything you need to know about growing, harvesting, and selling canola in Farming Simulator 25. I really hope this tutorial was useful to you. It's quite a complex game. If it was helpful, please consider at least subscribing and leaving a thumbs up on the channel. Check out the playlist you now see on screen, as I'm doing a ton of Farming Simulator 25 guides for you, and I also do all the latest games that ever release.